Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. For everyone who doesn't know me yet, my name is Corda LeBook, and here you'll find the best tips for your online safety, all about cybersecurity and everything related to it. Best antivirus protection, best password manager, top search engines, and we're jumping right into today's video with the topic of what Avast Premium Security Suite has to offer you and how it differs from Windows Defender. Is it worth it for private individuals, for home office use, or for businesses? And this here is the cached version of Avast Premium Security Suite. I can now run a smart scan here, which is basically a quick check of my computer. The computer is protected, I just ran a scan. And here, of course, we also have the option to check specific files. We have web protection enabled and email protection as well. And the email protection works, of course, just like with all virus scanners, in that it detects malware or ransomware if it is already known, so you can check it and the virus guard will recognize it. But many virus guards, or most of them, naturally have the problem that when a new virus appears or a new ransomware, phishing email, or whatever, they simply can't detect it. Because the problem still exists that people click on these emails, whether in companies or privately, and think, oh well, it's nothing serious. I can just click the URL or enter my password. It must be the correct address from Payball, for example. And a lot of people still fall for it. And antivirus software simply can't always detect that. You have to keep an eye out yourself and train yourself to recognize, okay, maybe this isn't the real Payball website, or this could actually be connected to ransomware in some way. So, in my view, antivirus programs are not snake oil. They are useful, but they are not a cure-all. And here we have all the features that Windows Defender doesn't have. Just like with Windows Defender, we can scan the PC for viruses or other malware. We can, let me check, yes, scan specific files, and of course, we can also check our emails. That's set by default, and we can send files to quarantine. That means if we have a malicious file, for example, a Trojan, then it will automatically be placed in quarantine. And then we have the network inspector. Here, of course, it's about checking which network I'm using and whether this network is secure. Is it a private network or a public network? Now, several people in the house use it and it's still secure. Not a public network in the true sense. And then we also have the ransomware shield. Here, of course, you can exclude and check certain files. But Avast actually does this automatically, as do most other virus scanners. You really don't have to worry much about anything here. The firewall is interesting. Here, it's about using Avast's firewall, but that doesn't mean the one from Windows Defender is any worse. You just have more configuration options here. Here, you can simply specify which network you want to protect. You can also see which logs have occurred recently, so you can see who has logged in, even from within the house. And with the premium version, you only get the option to select certain other features to make the firewall even better. I also believe that the firewall isn't even included in the free version. I don't want to commit to that right now, but with most free antivirus programs, it's usually the case that the Windows Defender firewall continues to be used automatically. Then we have the bank mode. With the Avast security browser, you can use bank mode for anyone who does online banking. I don't use it because I have my Revolut app on my phone and don't use this online banking method online. But it does exist, at least in theory. Remote access switch. Here we have the option to check certain things as well. Exactly, and then we move on to RearSight. That's Avast's real-time protection, which is enabled by default. And here we have the sandbox. This allows you to test apps or other programs in the sandbox. Many people might know this from VirtualBox. I hope that was the correct name. But in any case, there is definitely the option to install this VirtualBox or this sandbox and then test various things here to see if they are dangerous or might contain a virus. And Avast only offers this feature in the premium version. So I can already see that there are some features included here that Windows Defender doesn't have on board. The question is, do you really need that? For businesses, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's absolutely sensible, even for small businesses working from home. So for self-employed freelancers and everyone who falls under that category. But for private individuals, in my opinion, Windows Defender is sufficient. It has a good malware scanner and it has a firewall. And yes, you don't necessarily need a banking mode or the ability to check for ransomware, scan files, or run apps and programs in a sandbox. Let's continue with the topic of privacy and data protection. This is about being able to keep hackers out, about having better browser protection, which is specifically focused on Avast or Microsoft Edge. It also works with Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, but I use Edge and the Avast browser comes pre-installed. Then we have the option to get better webcam protection, but I currently don't use the webcam privately, and even for business I use it less often, but the option is definitely there. And here we can also protect sensitive data and additionally have the option to destroy the data. So data shredding, which means permanently deleting the files. When it comes to performance, it's of course about being able to install the latest software here, both from Avast and from other programs. We have a cleanup tool, a driver updater, and a battery saver here. And with Avira and Nerd, I think it's exactly the same with many other programs. And in my opinion, it's fair to call that snake oil in some cases. All these cleaning things, PC clean, what else is there? Well, VPN isn't necessarily snake oil, but battery saver, and that's also available on smartphones. Battery, or rather battery saver, is basically useless because it always depends on the smartphone and how you use it. And some apps just need more battery, they consume more battery, sorry. And it's exactly the same with PCs. But what really makes sense here is definitely the software updater. What else do we have here? We can see here, I think we can exclude certain programs as it seems so that they're not active. But the only thing that really matters here for performance is the software updater, and what's also important is the three-way updater. I think that's a good thing because while you can update three-way through Windows, it's much easier here. Yes, but it also offers the option to use additional apps. I just mentioned those a moment ago. That would be the VPN. Additionally, there's a premium option for better PC cleaning for those who need it or find it useful. Personally, I don't. And anti-tracking, of course, that also relates to browser protection. Anti-tracking in Chrome and in Edge. We already have the 3-bit update. And you don't really need the breach guard either, because I already introduced that in the video before last, the Keeper, which also offers this breach squad feature. That means you can check whether your data appears on the dark web or not. Strong passwords, password managers, they exist even without having to use the Avast or Avira password manager specifically. So all in all, it is definitely a useful piece of software that I would recommend, and I would also recommend it to people who have a business or a company. But for private use, it's not absolutely necessary. That's the final conclusion. For private use, you're also very well off with the Windows Defender. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next video.